Welcome back into a brand new episode of Tribal Council Chat. As always, we are your hosts. My name is Bruce Heller.
And my name's Brett Parnell, and we're here for the finale already.
How is that possible?
I don't know. It feels like it was just a couple weeks ago that I was just excited out of our mind to see all these people back on our television again. And now we have a winner.
Yeah, we do. And it's a win with Aubrey that just really completes her career story arc in such a cool way.
Yeah, absolutely.
To get close to winning and then finish fifth and then go out there and not do so hot and kind of, from what I've heard her say, remove herself from the Survivor world for a little while.
Yep.
To finally come back and complete the puzzle and win. It's just such a cool arc.
But interestingly enough, it's like like you said, removed herself, but then also in a postseason interview with Jeff, Aubrey's talking about no, it was a preseason interview. It was right before it started. At the premiere party in New York, she was talking about I've been waiting for this moment to get called back again for 7 straight years.
Interesting.
So there was probably always something in her that said, and I think a lot of that ties into what she says at the reunion, and I'm going to talk about that at the end of the show because I think this might be honestly the one time where I'm like, maybe something that was said at the reunion was the line of the season. But and not even during the main show, but it was like I almost think maybe it was just Aubrey taking that time and putting everything that her game's gone through into seeing how she could master it if she ever got the chance to play again, and that was offered to her for 50.
Yeah. So you mentioned the reunion. I'll ask this. Most of the reunion questions and conversations were not like what we were expecting.
That's
As
right.
far as like having the episode, then the reunion, he kind of blended them. We got a full cast on stage for a couple questions at the end. But what did you think of him like blending them together like this?
I think it was after what happened starting in 40 with Widows at War and the pandemic, they clearly wanted to make the episode more than 2 hours. They've been making episodes more than 2 hours for finales every single episode of the new era, or every single finale of the new era. And it's even harder to make it only 2 hours when we get regular episodes for the last 6 seasons that are 90 minutes.
Yeah.
You're talking about 30 more minutes than a regular episode before commercials for a 5-player finale as opposed to a regular one boot. That's very difficult to do. So I understand the challenge they were in from the production angle. I think probably the most talked about moment of the season, not the season, the most talked about moment of the finale, in that a major event of the finale got spoiled, came from just having no practice at doing something like this. And it was kind of thrown together to make it fit.
I really want, like, when he realized what he had done, and we'll get to that when we get there.
Yeah.
I really want to know, like, what his reaction was when he realized what he did.
Yeah.
Because, like, as we were going into commercial, we see the players on stage telling him, hey, we haven't watched Fire yet. You just told everyone. And he leads into commercial going, well, I don't know what just happened. So I assume during commercial, someone explained it to him, hey, you spoiled Fire.
Yeah.
I'd love to see his reaction to learning that.
That would have been funny. I mean, the solution should have been to vote, but the so-called fans didn't choose that.
I don't hate it. It's not the way I voted, and it's not what I was expecting. But you and our audience know this. I don't hate Fire at 4 the way most of the fan base.
Yeah.
I understand Probst's logic behind it.
Fair.
Because with a vote at 4, a lot of these people, like 43 with Jesse, or like some of these that are clear front runners, they're cooked if they don't win immunity at
Yeah,
that
but the
4
same
vote.
thing
Fire
happens
gives
now at
them a
5.
chance.
The same thing happens at 5.
Well, yeah, but there's more people. There's more numbers to try to wrangle, I guess.
Fair enough.
But fire at 4 at least gives them a chance to make final immunity that they may not have had with a vote.
Yeah.
Like you said, that mostly happens at 5, so it's kind of flawed logic, but I get the intent behind it.
Yeah. Same here.
And so before we dive into the recap, we have another Kevin video recapping our draft, and I'm hoping he goes through the full results. And so let me share my screen. And here we go. Oh, screen sharing paused. Now okay. We're just gonna watch it like this.
And so, yeah, now that we've gone over the draft here, wait a second.
No, we haven't.
What's going on?
Oh,
we haven't shown that part yet. Okay, my bad, guys. Okay,
yeah,
we
it
are
is
here
your bad.
for a final draft update of.
Hold on, I'm gonna pause this.
Survivor 50.
It's fun to be able to heckle him without him heckling me back because he's just a video right now. Okay.
I mean, shout out to Kevin. That was a hilarious reference to Rizzo's exit from the game.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Love that. For sure. Good job, Kevin. Hitting play now.
The draft where we had a clear-cut winner here. Brett Parnell kind of did a runaway victory with 3 of his 4 draftees going 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in this season
insane.
Of Survivor. So how this all broke down was Brett ended up with a average draft placement score of 7.75.
How?
In second place, Kyle Dorr with 10.25. In third was Heather with 11.5. In fourth, Bruce with 13.5.
I beat Kevin.
Myself with 14.5. And last place was Steve Parnell with the 17.5. Unfortunately, congratulations to Heather Heller here as she had the winner. Unfortunately, our draft is not for a winner. It's for a best placing team. And if you got a problem with that, you can take that up with your son and his co-host. Anyway,
I will stand
this was a
by
great
that.
season for Survivor 50, for Tribal Council Chat, and for our draft as a whole. The 2 teams that Bruce and I went out of the gate thinking were going to be the best 2 teams, mine and his, ended up in 4th and 5th place. So this season did not go out any of us expected it to, unless I would be remiss to mention that we did have 2 people in Heather and Steve that chose Aubrey as their winner pick during the draft. I had Tiffany, she finished 5th. Bruce had Stephanie, she finished, you're going to make me do math here, she finished 8th.
Yikes.
Maybe it was 10th. She finished 10th. Yeah, she finished 10th.
I liked 8th better. Say that again.
Brett picked Joe, who finished in 3rd. Kyle picked Sari, who finished in 6th place. So that's a wrap on the season. Congratulations to Brett with the runaway win. Congratulations to Heather, even though it doesn't count. You did draft the winner and pick them to win. So this was a great season. We will be back for season 51 to do all this fun stuff again with a new set of Survivor castaways. Back to you guys.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for doing the video, Kevin. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Leo Tex on Instagram, rio.teix, who messaged us the day of the draft and said, TF is Brett doing, meaning the fuck.
I have a couple things to say after this video. The first one is it took a couple drafts for an actual host of this show to win our own draft. You and I have gone back to back as the two hosts of this show now.
We have.
I had a runaway last year, and you followed me up by putting up the best draft performance this show's ever seen. 3 of the final 4 is absolutely mind-boggling.
I had a feeling that, like I said, I wasn't necessarily picking players to win, but that I was picking players who I just thought had good relationships in the community and would have the votes to go far. I'm surprised watching the early season that Rizzo got there. I thought I was in a bit of danger with his pick. Jonathan and Joe, I felt confident about the whole way through.
Your winner pick was Joe, and we'll ignore that and the fact that he had 0 chance coming into this.
He had 0 chance coming into the finale. That's absolutely right.
I will say this also. Brett mentioned that if people don't like that, we don't just... Not Brett. Kevin mentioned to take it up with us. If people don't like that our draft isn't just if you draft the winner, you win. And I stand by that choice. I don't like the idea of just this luck lottery where only one pick... I like the way we do it because your entire draft matters.
Yeah.
If I have the first 3 boots and then my 4th person is the winner, I don't feel like that team deserves to win. It should be the whole best team. So yes, fight me on that if you don't like that we don't draft for a winner. I stand by that. And then my last thought on that video. Ironically, this wasn't planned. It's just a bit I thought of. I'm wearing my USA Hockey jersey. Nice. One thing I have in common with what USA Hockey did at the Olympics versus what I did in this draft is we both beat our biggest rival. Now, USA Hockey, they took home the gold. I did not. But Canada's our biggest rival. It might be the best rivalry in all of international hockey. I don't know. I'm biased.
I mean, we haven't had it for a while. I'm still adamant that you guys are our biggest, that we're your biggest rival, but you're not our biggest rival, but that's just me.
So who is yours?
Russia.
Okay, well, we're better than them now.
Yes.
We're the 2 best hockey countries in the world.
I mean, you're not banned from international competition, so you're obviously better than them. It's not that hard.
Well, if they were playing, I still think we'd be better, though.
Fair.
But anyway,
USA-Canada is the biggest rivalry today, but Canada-Russia is the biggest rivalry of all time.
True. But USA took home the gold. I did not. But our biggest rival's Canada. My biggest rival's Kevin. And Canada and Kevin both finished behind Team USA and me. So...
I'm glad to know that even though you're my co-host, that I'm not your biggest rival in this pool.
No, because he's the one that, like, when he went on a 3-peat was trash-talking me during it, and you and me expanded the draft field from 3 to 6 to try to keep him from winning. So,
well,
rivalry was born out of his dominance, and now he's been dethroned.
Well, maybe in September it'll be time for either Kyle or Heather or Steve to get the win.
No, I want to win again.
Fair. So do I, but...
But... We don't need to do Player of the Week because someone was crowned winner, so that's the clear.
Yeah, I think Player of the Week is Aubrey by millions of miles.
It's clearly Joe. Just kidding.
Joe was the fantasy best performer of the week. You know, kind of like when your player for the New York Jets gets you 35 points in the fantasy football.
The Jets don't have a player good enough to perform that well in fantasy.
It can happen in a game or two.
Huh. Okay.
Not consistently, but that's effectively where Joe was. He wasn't that great, but he made me win the draft, so I'm happy.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, do we want to dive in? Do you want to lead us through our episode recap?
Yeah, sure. Let's get into the episode.
/ finale recap, because they were mixed together.
Yeah. Let's start out with the return to camp. And once again, we get this kind of sad scene that we've gotten before in so many seasons after Sui goes out of the game right before the finale.
Yeah, and Tiffany's not happy at all.
No. As much as Tiffany, there's zero chance that she could have beat Sui. Sui going out at 6 instead of at probably 5 or 4 ends Tiffany's strong chance to win the game.
Yeah, it does.
If Tiffany could have, say, kept Sui there, got to Final Four, and then beat her in fire, Tiffany's got a good chance to win.
Yeah, I'd agree. But yeah, she's ticked off at everyone, and I get it.
Yeah, same.
And so, yeah, I don't have a ton of thoughts from that scene.
Okay, well, I mean, it's a finale. Things go pretty quick. Right after that, we get into a challenge. Bruce, do you want to explain the challenge?
I actually didn't write it down.
Okay.
We have the Probst talks to Suri a little bit there, which was a fun conversation.
Yes.
And so, and America loves Suri, so.
So I missed a little bit of the beginning of the challenge. We'll just talk the end of the challenge because this is about the same time as I get off work every day. Just so everyone knows. But ultimately, it's your standard final 5. They have to go through different obstacles, ending in doing a puzzle, which is the season logo. We have Tiffany gets up first, Jonathan second, Aubrey. Who am I missing? Joe's up there with them, and then Aubrey and Rizzo are trailing behind.
Yeah.
And Tiffany has the early lead, but Jonathan does something we never seen before.
Yeah.
Jonathan becomes the first player in Survivor history, fun fact, to puke in a non-food challenge and still win the challenge.
That's crazy.
That guy just stops his puzzle, gets sick, comes back, keeps going, and wins the thing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You can tell that obviously we know the physical game is Jonathan's big part of his game. But you can tell at that point that he's completely determined to compete for this and get all the way to the end.
He is.
I had to laugh. I think I sent it to you, but Polly and Devin from the challenge both had a video today talking about the finale on Instagram, where they were both commenting on, like, if Joe was on the challenge, he would do so well. And I'm like, Jonathan would be 10 times better than Joe on the challenge.
But also, no, Joe wouldn't do well on the challenge because that game is even messier and
but
more
is it because you come back? Is it? But though, because you come back season after season after season to the point that honor and integrity and loyalty is actually really important in the challenge.
But people don't play with them. I mean, some people do.
Most people do.
I mean, yeah, but you've got the, like, Johnnies or Wes's of the world that'll do whatever
but I mean,
to win.
If you turn on somebody in the challenge, it can haunt you 5, 6, 7 seasons later.
Yeah, but if Survivor people got tired of Joe being Joe around camp, MTV people will get tired of how he is around the house.
Yeah, I can see that.
And you saw the way he complained about anything Rick Devens does. What if he's in a house with Amanda Garcia or Laurel Stuckey? Like, how's that gonna go?
Ridiculous.
So, no, I don't. I like Joe. I like Joe on 48. I'm not a huge fan on 50. But I like him as a person. No, I don't think he'd do good at the challenge. I don't think his personality is a good fit. Jonathan would be great, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Jonathan just love him or hate him, lives every day on that island just to compete again and again and again, and does things that we've never seen Survivor players do.
Yeah.
Then we go back to camp, and camp is a little hostile.
Yeah. It is.
We kind of get the sense of which way this is going now that Jonathan has immunity. Tiffany is pushing really hard, and as she should, to say Aubrey is just as likely to win as I am. Aubrey definitely was more likely to win based on the results, so I mean, she's right to an extent. I don't think either Aubrey or Tiffany win. Sorry, I don't think either Aubrey or Tiffany don't win if they're sitting at the end, based on what we've seen. So,
I just realized something.
Go ahead.
One of Prope's favorite moves at these reunions, at the end of this episode where he had everyone up on stage, and it's not accurate because they've had time to think and see versus when they're running in the moment. But one of Prope's favorite moves at reunions is, if this person had been in the final three instead of this person, how would you have voted? Would you have still voted for our winner?
Yeah.
We did not get a, hey, who would have voted for Tiffany if she was in the final three with Aubrey thing.
That's true. I think it's hard to say because every time they do that, you're looking back on it in hindsight. So
it's not an accurate representation at all. It kind of bugs me every time he does that. But that's one of his classic moves.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't even know off the top of my head how many times he's done that. He does that at a lot of reunions. Also, is the live reunion back to stay, or is this a one-time thing?
I don't think it was necessarily determined either way, but Tegwith did post an interesting Instagram story where at the end of the reunion, once they've gone off air, Jeff says, "Oh, thanks so much for coming, everyone. This is fun. Maybe we'll do it again sometime soon."
Hey, we are in the open era now, so
yeah.
We'll get to that at the end, but I feel like what he's calling the open era, we've already been in. I guess I'll say it now. He shows the preview for 51 and does this, we're in the open era. Any twist, any casting, anything we've ever done is an option for us to bring back. Was that not already the case?
No, that wasn't
the idea
the case.
He likes, he's going to use it. He's not going to say, we used this 20 years ago. It's been too long.
I think that there's a difference, though. I think this open era is really saying that players coming into 51 will have to think about the whole history of Survivor and really be able to say, what could we do? What can't we do? What might happen in the future? I think by Jeff focusing on this open era and not say the continuation of the new era, I think he's really getting into that. I know I've seen interviews of players saying to Jeff, hey, before he unveils the cover off of the reward, we're playing for this today.
So do we have a third era of the show now?
Yes, I think we're into the fourth era of the show.
Well, here's the thing, and we've said before, there's the old era and the new era, but within the old era, there's old school and new school, 1 to 20 and then 21
I mean,
to 40.
I still think those are two different eras of the show.
They're different from each other, but when you get to, the 40s, everything pre-40 is pretty similar compared to the 40s.
Yes, but everything pre-20 is very different to season 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes, but
post-20.
I agree, but if you take, say, Palau, Yes, it's going to be very different than David versus Goliath, but
So then it's a different era of the show.
But those two are a lot more similar to each other than either of them is to the new era.
That's fair.
So, I think, but the open era and the 40s are two different things, or is
Yes.
It? Okay.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
And I think that it could be maybe we'll see what 51 looks like. I know production's making it seem to be this huge thing. I think it could be some of the older stuff too, is that maybe they have to prepare for what if we throw in a twist that we used in season 7 or season 3 or
the Outcasts are back.
I think I'm not laughing. I think it's going to happen sometime between 51 and 59.
Here's what
51 and 60.
What I appreciate with this third/fourth era of the show, I kind of combine new and old school into old era.
Okay.
But throughout the new era, Probst has been very strong on we like what we're doing, we're not changing, The 51 trailer, I only saw 2 tried buff colors.
Yep.
And I saw in a reel. You know what the cast size of 51 is?
21.
What? It's not 18.
I have a prediction for that.
We haven't gotten a newbie season that wasn't 18 since Island of the Idols.
Yep.
But we've never had 21 before.
I have a prediction for it.
I kind of do too. What's yours?
It's the introduction to the open era. Exile Island's back. Someone's going to be stranded there the first minute of the game.
Yeah.
And then whoever gets voted out, they'll replace. We have a cast of 20.
That was my thought too. And then, since anything that happened ever is in play again, we're gonna take a hike and accidentally end up in the other tribe's island.
You never know.
That happened in Cook Islands.
That did happen in Cook Islands, and it happened in Guatemala on a canoe.
Yeah, but Guatemala, they did it on purpose.
They still let them, which today they would never do.
No, but Cook Islands, it was an accident, which makes it funnier.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because cowboy's just cowboy. I don't know how else to describe it.
It's still too bad that I didn't run into Cowboy in Cambodia.
No. You could have asked him to be a permanent co-host with us. We could have had a 3-man show.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Or ask Mark the Chicken if you saw him and have Mark on the show every week.
I'm pretty sure Mark the Chicken and I saw his grandchildren by now.
Oh, well, nice. They have a famous grandpa in the chicken world, I guess.
Who probably got eaten about an hour after Ty let him go, if that.
But we kind of jumped to the end of the episode. Going back to where we were, where I'm at in my notes is, after Jonathan wins immunity, we get another reunion convo, and it's Probst talking with Devins and with Christian, and I love this. And Probst says the one word that describes Devins is joy, and I just thought that was really well put. Rick Devins.
Yeah, that is.
I realized that's why I like him so much. That guy's always having fun.
I saw an interesting take this week. I can't remember who said it, so sorry if I don't credit you here. I'm not claiming it to be my own idea. But remember when Jeff was doing that challenge this year, and he's like, Devins, you're not going to win. Why don't you drop out and host?
Yeah.
Are they grooming Devins to be the next host?
Him or Rizzo.
Interesting.
I saw someone in a reel say him or Rizzo would be the next host.
Cool.
Well, it was just some random fan guessing that. There's nothing factual.
I mean, while I still think that Jeff has a number of seasons left, if we're going into now the open era, you do have to get to a point where you're going, by the time we hit season 60, Jeff will be like, what, almost 70 years old?
Yeah.
So it's very possible that the show could last longer than its original host.
Let's have Tyson host. That
would be hilarious.
Or we just go full chaos mode and say, hey, Russell, what you got? I am
That'd be
just
fun.
kidding for our audience. Russell as host would be legitimately awful.
But also for our audience, you're gonna hear us do an episode about Russell's game at some point during this off season.
Okay. I will say this though, we love the sassy Jeff moments where like he trash talks or insults the cast members. Host Russell would be doing that nonstop.
Oh yeah.
Like sassy Jeff would just be how host Russell is all the time. And it'd be too much.
So, like we said, getting back into the episode, but
Yeah.
Tiffany is not happy. Apparently, there was a cut fight between her and Jonathan at Tribal Council that did not go well.
Yeah.
There was then
hammock conversation also not shown between them that's been gaining traction online.
Yeah. And then at the end of the episode, well, at the end of the Tribal, Tiffany's voted out, and we've got our final four.
Yeah, and I will say this too, because I've seen this hammock conversation, and Tiffany shared this with someone at the finale. She was talking with Jonathan.
The funny thing is, I'm just gotta say this because it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Your phone just had that digging noise in my ear.
Yeah.
And I was about to interrupt the podcast to ask for somebody's pilot ID number, because that is what I do for a living when I hear a dinging noise in my ear.
Nice. But you've probably seen this hammock conversation where Tiffany's like, and I forget who it was, like, hey, I'm as big of an, oh, it was Joe. I'm as big of an immunity threat as Joe is. Why are you voting me out, not him?
Yeah.
And what he said was, well, you're a girl. And people cut that off there, and they stopped listening to, like, Tiffany share the full quote and say, oh, Jonathan didn't want Tiffany to win because she's a girl. What Tiffany goes on to say is Jonathan talked about how the immunity record for girls is 4 and for guys is 8. Which I assume...
It's 8?
I don't know. Like, she kind of waffles, but I don't... She waffled... I think he was thinking of the all-time record and got it confused.
Okay.
But she also was, like, kind of lost. But people get stuck on that, well, you're a girl. Not defending Jonathan, by the way, the thought process here still isn't great. But I think the thought process was, from what I understand here, if Tiffany sets the immunity record or ties it for women, or gets that 4th one, that makes it even harder to sit next to her at the end. The guy's record is more.
That's fair.
Now, trying to keep someone from winning a record, still not great.
Yeah.
But like that
Let's
got
amongst that
a little bit online, so I wanted to point that out.
Those 5 people who have that a tie for that record, and 3 of them won the game.
Yeah.
Savannah, Jenna, and Kim.
And I am not
trying... It doesn't mean it's unbeatable, because the other 2 are Chrissy Hoffbeck, who lost to Ben, and Kelly Wigglesworth, who lost to Rich.
And I'm not trying to come out and say Jonathan's a great player or a great person or whatever, but the idea of, like, I don't know if you've seen this online. It's been gaining traction of, oh, Jonathan didn't want Tiffany to win because she was a girl.
Yes.
That's not true. That's not even what Tiffany herself said. Watch the whole clip, guys.
Fair enough.
So, that's all I've got on that topic.
So yeah, Tiffany is voted out here. We have our final 4. And they're playing simmotion again, which was actually the challenge I voted for, even though it's common at this point.
We finally got another challenge that went how I voted for it.
Yeah, we did.
It's overused as final immunity, but final immunity should be an iconic, well-known challenge. The other option to vote for didn't fit that bill.
I got something to say about this one.
Yeah.
I think I figured out the science behind winning simmotion.
Okay.
With math.
Okay.
If I ever get on Survivor, here's what I'm doing. If any of you listening ever get on Survivor and don't know what to do and want to take my strategy and see if it works, go for it. They give you about a minute after you drop the first ball, just with one ball, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna drop the first ball and figure out how much time it takes to get to the bottom. Let's say it's, I don't care, 40 seconds. You are then going to assume that you will not get to more than 6 balls.
Okay.
Right? That means that I've often see this challenge end at 5 or 6. I've never seen it end at 7. If it ends at 7, my math is going to throw the strategy right out the window. But you are not going to spread the balls equally through the apparatus that the game is played on. Instead, you are going to take, if it's 35 seconds that it takes to get from top to bottom, you are going to divide 35 by 6, come up with your answer, and that is precisely how much time you're going to put between each ball. So that way, when you get up to 6 balls, every ball is going to be the same amount of time dropping through at a consistent rate.
Interesting.
I think I have just won simmotion with mathematics and not with actually playing.
We'll have to try it and figure it out.
That would be so much fun. CBS, if you ever want to do another one of those trips to Fiji, let Bruce and I come.
Let us come.
He has a passport now.
And you let him try simmotion, and you let me try last gasp and see if it lasts longer than like a minute. Because I feel like I could be good at it because it doesn't actually involve swimming. And I can just drape my arms and legs around the grate and hang there. Yep. But there's a good chance that I try it and I last like 30 seconds also.
True.
So, yes, invite us out to try both of these challenges.
Would be so much fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think simmotion is more math than it is actually playing. Just my take.
Yeah.
Next, we have players going back and forth. Joe is quickly out. Jonathan not too long after, and it comes down to Rizzo versus Aubrey. And at this point, if you're either of these players, you need to win because whoever wins immunity is probably going to win the game.
Yeah.
Though somehow Jonathan did get 3 votes. So I don't want to say
where those votes came from, though.
No. I mean, Eliza had a theory on it that I tend to agree with, but I'm not going to talk about that on this podcast because we're a nonpartisan show.
I saw something on Twitter. I'm skipping ahead a bit, but you know how like at Final Tribal, Chrissy and Stephanie, like everything they said was pro Jonathan?
Yeah.
I saw, let me find the caption. I'll send you the link for it later. Or I'll send it now so you can watch it later. It says, leaked audio from Chrissy and Stephanie talking about Jonathan. And it's the scene from South Pacific where what's her name? Semhar is like doing this, like the totally out unhinged like monologue about her husband or lover or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it's that.
That was funny. I saw that.
Just an insane scene from South Pacific also, by the way.
Yes, absolutely. So eventually things catch up and Rizzo drops out. He has you'll notice Rizzo, like I was saying, gets a little too ahead at one point and drops one ball about half a second away from another ball.
Yeah.
And at that point Rizzo is finished.
Yeah.
Aubrey wins. We come back to camp, and there's really no debate about it. Joe asks her, are you going to tell us what you're going to do? And Aubrey looks at Joe, sees there's nobody around, and says, you're coming to the final 2. which generally in Survivor means you lose.
Yeah, when's the last time the person brought to the end did win?
Did it happen?
I don't know. I'm curious.
35. Let me take a look. So Ben won fire. Wendell won fire.
Nick won final immunity. I remember that.
Nick won final immunity and took Angelina.
Chris put himself in fire.
Yeah. Dean won fire.
And probably brought Nora.
No.
Wait.
There's the answer. Lauren Beck won immunity and took Tommy.
Lauren wasn't in final 3.
Final 4.
No, but she couldn't have taken Tommy to final 3 with her because she wasn't there. Final 3 was...
Oh, yeah.
Lauren couldn't have won final immunity.
Then what is with this paper? Then what's with Wikipedia?
I don't know. I discovered that with Amazing Race Season 1 results recently.
Or I'm reading it wrong.
Probably.
That's probably... Yeah, I'm right. Nora won final immunity and took Tommy.
Well, that still counts. Okay.
It still counts. It's still the same answer. I just read it on the wrong line.
Yeah.
Dean beat Lauren in the fire.
Yeah. Lauren probably wins the game if she wins that, though.
Yeah. I could see it.
But...
So there's our one answer.
Until Survivor 57, when you get brought to the end and then you win.
We'll see. Hopefully, I would love to be on.
Yeah.
So that's when we get the infamous moment after Aubrey has immunity. She tells Joe he's coming. She's very respectful about it. Goes up to Lizzo and Jonathan. Jonathan says, "Hey, are you going to tell us anything?" And she just says, "You two are going into fire." Which is going to make should have made a very fun television moment. Because Jonathan lost in fire to Mike Turner. And Lizzo lost in fire to Savannah.
Yeah.
So both of these guys are going for redemption at something that ultimately ended their game. Yeah. So as much as I don't like the fire making challenge, the fact that it's Lizzo against Jonathan in fire made me like it just a little bit.
Yeah, and before they show us the actual fire making competition, we cut back to the reunion, and Jeff brings Rizzo out on stage, and we hinted at this earlier. And he talks to Rizzo, and he goes, "Well, and now it's time for you to take the final seat on our jury over here," or something along those lines, and tells him to go sit with the jury, implying that he lost. We hadn't seen it yet. How does that happen?
At least this time, unlike in Winners at War, Jeff spoiled fire instead of Governor Phil Murphy spoiling fire.
Wait, what happened?
Oh, I've never told you about this?
No.
So you know how with the COVID era show, at the spur of the moment, they canceled the reunion and extended the finale?
What's COVID?
You know.
Yes, I remember the Zoom thing.
I don't want to remember it either. But that they extended the show to 3 hours and then what's it called? Canceled the live reunion?
Yeah.
So because the show was originally supposed to be 2 hours, the fire making challenge should have been over at the hour and 45-minute mark. It wasn't. So get this. During the final immunity challenge, which if I remember, Natalie Anderson wins, right?
Yes.
Final four, Natalie wins. While that challenge is going on, the governor of the state of New Jersey tweets out, "Congratulations at Mish Fitz, at Tony Flachos, at Natalie A. 3 New Jerseyans are in the final 3 of Winners at War." Um, this something along the lines of Survivor Capital of America. Obviously, CBS told the governor's office 3 of your constituents are going to be in the final 3. He then put a tweet that was like a prepared tweet out for when the fire challenge should have been over, only for them to then extend the episode, and the challenge wasn't over, and Sarah Lacina was still in the game.
Wow.
As a politician, basically is ending Sarah's chances of ever being the winner of Survivor Winners at War.
That is insane.
Yeah, it was funny.
I'm kind of shocked I didn't know about that, honestly.
I'll see if I can find it.
Poor Sarah. Having the governor eliminate her like that.
I mean, there's about 5 political jokes on my mind that I could think of between Sarah and Phil Murphy that I'm not going to say once again because we're a nonpartisan show.
Say it when I hit stop on the recording.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're preparing for fire, and I jumped to the probes thing because I'm still just shocked at how that happens.
It's shocking how it happens, but I'm going to go back to what I said at the beginning of the episode, and I think that's just the nature of them never doing something like this before. I don't think it's anyone's fault.
Yeah.
It just happened because they didn't really know what to do. They were probably, once the fans voted for a live reunion, coming up on the fly with how do we make it a live reunion, not have it be 4 hours and still show everything that we edited. That's difficult.
I mean, with the time they spent cutting from the episode to the reunion conversations, though, they could have used that time and just played the whole episode, then had the reunion after, like we always do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what... I didn't mind the execution. The idea of why they did that confuses me. It just seems unnecessary.
Fair enough.
But I do want to highlight Joe in fire preparation, by the way, who's been tight with Jonathan. And, like, if either of he or Jonathan won final immunity, they were taking the other with them to the end.
Yep.
Sees Rizzo struggling with fire and just can't help himself and has to teach Rizzo how to make fire like he did with Eva last season. Except not last season, 48.
That's Joe, but I mean, to a point, it didn't happen, but there's also some jury strategy there.
But with Eva, it made sense. That's your top ally. Rizzo's going against your top ally, and you actually made him really good to where it spooked Jonathan when Jonathan saw how good Rizzo got.
But let me ask you this. If you're Joe, do you not think you want Jonathan on the jury?
No, because he's all honor and integrity and loyalty. Jonathan's right. He told Jonathan they were going to the end together. He doesn't want to.
Yeah, but Rizzo didn't take him out. Joe didn't take him out. Rizzo would have.
I don't think that was Joe's intention at all. I think Joe just couldn't help himself when he saw someone.
I don't think it was his intention, but I do think it would be smart of Joe. And I also think it's smart of him if he thinks Rizzo is going to lose to make that the last relationship Rizzo has in the game.
I legitimately think Joe just saw someone struggling and couldn't help himself and taught them.
I think you're right. Knowing that it's Joe, I just think that there's a lot of good gameplay that can come out of a move like that.
It could, but it wouldn't be intentional, so it's not going to give him jury credit. Because everyone knows he wouldn't be doing that on purpose to send Jonathan home.
Fair enough.
But
All right. So we go to fire. We already know the result. Jeff makes a funny joke about, do we want to watch the fire making challenge anyway, which we obviously do. And then, surprise, Jonathan wins. Rizzo goes home. But then when we get back to camp, final 3 breakfast, we have a surprise we haven't seen since
40.
Winners at War.
We finally have the love. I have been complaining for 10 seasons now about not having loved ones visits anymore, and they finally gave. I would have liked for it to have been before Final 3, but I'll take what I can get.
It reminded me of Cagayan when they came out at Final 4.
Yeah, it's Final 3 is super late, but I'll take it over.
Did I tell you what Sophie Bellotti posted in Chat BCC?
No.
Right as that happened, Sophie says, I helped Rizzo's mom pick out a dress, and if she flew all the way to Fiji and didn't get to see Rizzo till he was at the airport.
I think Kevin told me that about Rizzo's mom.
That must be rough.
Yeah. Wow. Sorry,
What?
I just got a notification. The Vegas Golden Knights had completed another third period comeback and are up 2-0 on
Nice.
the supposedly unbeatable Colorado Avalanche.
Let's go.
Now, I don't want to get my hopes up too much because the Avs haven't had Cale Makar, and there's a good chance that he could come back and they could just rattle off 4 in a row, but we're making it as hard as we can before Makar comes back.
But Vegas is taking it back to the Strip next week.
Yeah, but if Makar comes back, then Colorado's still favored.
Yeah, but you get last change if we're out of for 3 games out of 5.
What's Makar's injury, by the way?
I don't know. I haven't paid much attention to the West.
I don't.
Usually the Western games are starting when I'm getting ready to go to bed.
I will say this though: after an entire and we'll get back to Survivor right after this. After an entire regular season of the Central Division has the 3 best teams in the entire league, and the West champion is gonna come out of the Central for sure, and that combined with everyone calling the Pacific the pillow fight division, including Connor McDavid, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
If the West champion comes out of the Pacific and a Pacific team slays the unbeatable Colorado Avalanche, that will be hysterical to me.
That would be.
So, good for you, Vegas. And I'm in the minority. Most hockey fans don't like Vegas, but
I don't have nothing against them.
Yeah, I don't either, but people seem to not like them.
I'd love to go to a game there. It's probably my favorite city in your country.
Their in-arena experience looks awesome online.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, Jonathan wins fire.
Maybe sometime you should come out there with me to see the Blues play in Vegas.
Okay.
That would be fun.
Jonathan wins fire. It's not particularly close. We get Final 3. We get Loved Ones. Loved Ones were so fun.
That was so much fun.
And none of them were probably expecting it because we haven't had it for so long.
Yeah, absolutely. When, you can tell that Joe is going like, oh, there's a boat. And the way I looked at Joe's expression there, I honestly think that Joe thought for a second this is going to be a Final 2. And then he said, that's my brother.
Yeah.
You could tell he was nervous seeing a boat on what will look like Final 3.
Yeah. And so...
Which, I mean, if you're Joe, you shouldn't be nervous of a Final 2. It gives you an opportunity to take Aubrey out, but based on the votes, I guess he wasn't winning anyway.
I also have notes from the conversation they were having right up until the boat pulled up.
Yeah.
Which was someone asking the question, hey, I wonder if the guy from Castaway would be proud of us.
That was funny.
Hysteric. I love these little camp conversations that aren't gameplay and aren't strategy. It's just them being humans. And someone at one point asked if Wilson, the volleyball, would be proud of us. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen that movie all the way through, actually.
I don't think so. Steve was watching it the other day.
Huh. So, are we going to Final Tribal now?
We're going to Final Tribal.
So, I do love this. Our Meet the Jury segment, Coach, when we're talking each one, Coach said, hey, if Joe comes in there and says I came in wanting to play honor and integrity and I abandoned that, he has my vote. First off, how did he abandon it?
He didn't abandon it, but Coach wanted him to, because as I've said all season, for Coach, the honor and integrity thing is just an act. For Joe, it's real life.
But, so we heard that, and that stuck out to me because I'm like, why do you want him to admit something he didn't do?
Yeah.
But Coach's question, leading us off, what core value do you hold in real life that you had to abandon in this game? Basically, that's just setting up to see if Joe gives him that answer, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
And that just made me chuckle. And so, I also have a note here of, we mentioned how Stephanie was super pro Jonathan, and like, someone asked Stephanie, like, hey, is there a question in there? And like, she gets to it. Dee kind of speaks up and goes like, hey, as a jury, we need to be aware of the way we ask questions, so the other two don't get super nervous. This is nerve-wracking enough already. We should be careful with how we're asking these, you know? I think that's a fairly good point.
Yeah, that is a great point from Dee, especially as someone who sat there and who's won the game herself.
Yeah.
Dee's one of the few people now who knows what it's like to be on both ends of Final Tribal.
Yeah. I mean, the campaigning for one specific player has always been a thing.
Yeah.
But that one was just so, like, such a lead up to get to a question. Like, yeah, I like Dee speaking up there.
I think it's different too when someone claims they ask a question and don't, versus when you know they're just going to make a speech.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Like, there's moments, David in Redemption Island, Scott in Korong, that just stick out in Final Tribal. Sue, obviously, in Borneo.
What's his name from Samoa? That made the Super Pro Natalie speech.
Eric. Yeah, Eric. And in contrast with that, Shambo making a Super Pro Wrestle speech in the same tribal.
I forgot about that completely. Gotta be the only juror that ever did that.
I think those are big moments in the show, and if someone's going to get up and do that and show their bias, that's totally fine. But I think there was a difference in what Dee thought Stephanie was doing, and that was trying to claim she had a question that was, I'm going to ramble off and then ask an easy question to making it look like I'm willing to vote for anyone.
Yeah, I don't like the way Stephanie did that. It's not... This is 2 seasons in a row where we have a jury question being handled in a way I don't appreciate. Because last year we had the, hey, only you, name a relative of everyone on the jury, but I'm not going to ask this question to the 2 other people that would probably have the same answer Savannah did.
Right.
Which, it didn't get shown, but I read someone on the jury, I think Sophie S. maybe, someone called Christina out on that. But
interesting.
I did not appreciate Christina only asking the attack question to one person.
Yeah.
And I don't really appreciate the way Stephanie handled this. So
yeah, I agree.
It's Dee, so of course, like, I tend to agree, but good for her for speaking up there. My next final tribal note is Suri mentions that Aubrey played this new era game that was fluid and flexible and moved when she needed to. That's not a new era thing.
Yeah.
Going back to 31, one of the major plot
Going.
one
Go
of
ahead,
the
sorry.
major plot points of 31 was alliances versus just having voting blocks where you vote
Yep.
together in these blocks and shift each vote.
I
What
mean,
Cerise calling a new era game is not new era specific.
moving when you needed to was founded by Rob Cesternino in the Amazon.
True.
And that was as pretty old school as it gets.
Yeah, that quote kind of confused me, honestly, from Suri there.
Agreed.
My next note is also from Suri. Is Joe talks about how he adapted as he played, which admittedly he didn't. But the way Suri says this is, if that's true, why did we have these things called jotations, where everyone had to babysit you? We each took turns babysitting you for a vote, and we laughed about it behind your back. That's a little harsh, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like, she's not wrong, but that's not necessary. Like, to just sit there and say, hey, we laughed about you behind your back. We all had to babysit you.
Yeah, that might have not been necessary, but we've certainly seen people getting babysat in this game ever since Boston Rob.
And nothing she said about Joe was untrue, but, like, could we find a softer delivery method, maybe? Good
That's
Lord.
fair.
I feel like he was kind of shocked. He was kind of shook by that. Do you notice that? And then my last jury questions note before I hand it over to if you have your final tribal notes, if I missed anything. I love Emily's question. Give me one critique of the game you played.
Yeah.
Questions
I really like that question.
Questions like this, or like we've had this question a few times over the years, one of my favorite jury questions, which is tell me why the person sitting next to you deserves to win. Like, I like this when it's not just hyping ourselves up, when we have to be honest or share our shortcomings or share our opponent's strengths also.
Every time I see that show your opponent's strengths question, I just laugh because a very famous Canadian politician by the name of Rob Ford, that some of you that watch American late night TV might remember, I helped him on his campaign back for mayor of Toronto in 2010. Knew Rob very well before he passed away. And I'll just remember somebody asking him that question, well, asking all the candidates for mayor of Toronto that exact question in the middle of a debate that I thought they probably took from Survivor. But it was the funniest thing ever when Rob says that it was my candidate. One of my opponents has a lot of experience, and one of my opponents quit his high-paying job to show dedication to this city. And then the guy that's his main opponent that he thinks is his biggest threat to win, he just goes, George, you're wearing a nice suit today.
Nice.
It was so funny.
I do appreciate that as a jury question, though, of
Yeah.
why does your opponent or the people sitting next to you deserve to win this season? It makes people think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like seeing them hype each other up for some reason. So, did you have anything that I didn't have from Final Tribal?
No, you pretty much covered it.
There was stuff I didn't note down, but not every jury question stuck out to me.
That's it.
We finally get the iconic thing back of this scene of Probst walking through a portal where he leaves Final Tribal and walks straight onto stage.
Yes.
With the urn, through time, wearing the
Sadly,
same clothes.
we didn't get him taking a sea-doo back to LA. That was my favorite one when he sea-dooed up the Amazon River all the way to Manhattan.
That's so good. I want to ride a jet ski so bad. Those look so fun.
They are fun. I've never driven one, but I rode on the back of one in Mexico.
Nice. No, the Amazon one is good. Is that the one, he does sea-doo all the way. There's one where he shifts mode, where, the trip is so long, he shifts modes of transportation.
Yeah, then he ends up skydiving into Los Angeles. I think I don't want to spoil it, but I think that might be the one that we're about to watch come August.
And
I
this
think
one,
that's the Vanuatu finale.
this one we didn't have like the trip. He literally just walks through a portal. He leaves Tribal Council, and there's this magic portal, and he's immediately on stage with the urn in the same clothes. But like, that stupid little transition makes me so happy that it's back.
Oh, yeah.
It's just iconic to the history of the show.
Was it ever?
And like,
I mean, I wish they would do this every time. It was so, even with Fire getting spoiled, this reunion and setup of a finale was so much better than the last 10.
I love that we have Probst leaving Tribal Council straight to stage back. Can
Yeah.
we take the next step and add the like journey back into it too with the Sea-Doo or the helicopter or whatever we choose for it to be? That was awesome. Also with the Sea-Doo, he got super wet there, and by the time he got on the stage, he had dried off.
Yeah.
So shout out to whatever towel he was using that did a great job. Because this clearly is pre-filmed. That was an
wait till
actual
you see my video of the newest cruise ship when I'm on it in September. Actually, I'll be doing the draft from a cruise ship in September
Nice.
for next season. But they actually came up with these things that's next to the water slide that is just a human dryer. You just walk into a box and stand there and dry off instantly.
Huh. Interesting.
Maybe Probst used one of those before they were invented.
I mean, it would have to be. This clearly isn't pre-filmed. Or like fake. He clearly did ride a jet ski all the way to New York from the Amazon. Like, we're fully bought into the storyline here. But also, I'm giving him credit for bringing back the silly transition that we all love. I'm gonna disagree with him on something here. He gives Aubrey a car, and he talks about the car curse, and then he goes, well, the car curse is just about timing. All those people won the car first, then lost the game. You've already won, and now you're getting the car, and gives Aubrey a car. And he says the curse is broken. That's not how the car curse works. You can't give someone who's already won a car and say, oh, the car curse is broken. That's not how that works.
If I go to my threads, I was chatting with Eliza at this exact moment of the finale on something she posted.
Oh, boy.
And I think this is worthwhile to give it here. Eliza said, okay, I don't think giving the winner a car actually breaks the car curse, but I'm open to being persuaded. What does everyone think? I said, to my response, if being given the car counts, Amber broke the car curse in season 8.
Yeah. That's true.
So I don't think that this is really counts for it. But hey, product placement. Shout out to Toyota. You helped keep Survivor 50 on the air.
Here's how you know I'm right about this and that Probst saying the curse is broken is BS. I texted this to Kevin and he agreed with me. You know how often he agrees with me. We've been on Zoom recordings.
The three of us chat all the time in the same Instagram channel.
Yeah, we have a Facebook Messenger group chat where, like, last night we talked about Canadian milk, for example. Like, he agreed with me on that, too. But, like, I texted him that the
Well, because you guys have never seen milk in a plastic bag.
Why is it in a plastic bag? You put the bag in a pitcher. Ours already comes in a plastic pitcher.
Wait till you come here next year and have to use one.
Yeah, I'm sure, but I'm just glad the peanut butter tray is not real. That was unhinged.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That is 100% fake.
Good. But no, I texted Kevin that you can't. This isn't how the car curse works. You can't give someone who already won the car and say it's broken. And he agreed with me.
And I agree too.
Which doesn't happen very often, so that's how you know I'm right.
Anything you want to say about the finale before I get into, I think, the main speech of the night?
Given who all was on the cast, the final five was kind of underwhelming to me compared to like who we had coming in. This was a great finale, fantastic winner, and I don't dislike the final five. It's just you look at who all was on the season. I don't think anyone would have picked this as their ideal five.
But I mean, that's almost the story of every returning player season.
Yeah.
People want the fan favorites to go all the way, and in all honesty, it's like they would be too big of threats if they got there. I mean,
heroes versus villains.
Yeah, heroes versus villains is one exception. All Stars, Rupert came in as the big fan favorite, and of course he got to the Final Four. But you look after that, and I don't think really. I know Rob is the player that Rob is now, but that's because of his All Stars game. I don't think based on Marquesas, anybody would have said Rob Mariano, Amber Burkich, or Jenna Lewis should be the winner of All Stars.
Yeah.
And they made it to the final three. Rupert, obviously, like I said, was probably the most popular man in America that year.
I wonder how many babies were named Rupert that year.
I don't know. There's probably quite a few. I have some couple.
I
of
saw a graph recently of like babies named Colby in America, and the Australian Outback airs, it like skyrockets.
I have a funny story to tell you about that right after we get off the pod.
Wonderful. But no,
yeah,
I say all that
versus villains is an exception.
That's always.
I mean,
you notice that's always the exception in these conversations.
Winners at War, I guess you could say Tony was the exception. They're all winners, but there's probably a sizable percentage of the fan base that would have thought Natalie, Michelle, and Sarah were a bit underwhelming. I don't agree with them, but I know it's out there.
And like, I don't say that to take a shot at these players, but Final Five that a lot of people wouldn't have guessed or predicted or said was ideal, they put up a great finale.
Yeah, they did.
A predictable finale. I'm pretty sure I predicted each of the Final Five in the correct placements. But
no, I predicted Jonathan and Joe swapped.
I don't remember what I said, so I'm just going to assume
I said it was going to be 10-1-0 Aubrey, with one vote being from Coach going for Joe.
Oh. I don't remember what I said for second and third, so I'm just going to assume I was right.
Fair.
Because, I don't have evidence in front of me that I wasn't.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it was a predictable finale. Still super fun. I actually kind of like the reunion mixed in. I'd rather we just play the episode and then have a full reunion all together afterwards still.
Yeah.
And if you took the time we used on those conversations mixed in, you do have the time to just have a full reunion show. But fantastic finale. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic finale. One thing I wanted to talk about before we get into our final Align Blindside First Boot of the season is, let me just get the exact quote. It's something Aubrey says in the reunion, which to me was the quote of the whole episode. It's the confessional of the whole episode, even though it's live. And Aubrey looks back at her past games here and says, Sandra taught me how to be more direct. Sarah Lacina taught me to plot way ahead of time. Underwood taught me you can still live in the 11th hour, and Michelle taught me so many lessons, and we saw that. Aubrey referenced week after week after week things that she was learning from Michelle's game that beat her in Korong.
Yeah.
And I thought this just came full circle where I'm like, as obviously I make no apologies. The audience knows this, that I've been a fan of Michelle since day one. I think this was kind of the one time where I know there's a lot of conflict sometimes on the internet. Both my fan group and Aubrey, the people who are big Aubrey fans online, can sit down and say, you know what, at the end of the day, both these women are amazing players and they both won the game.
So you and the Aubrey stands are one now? Like you guys have made your peace with each other?
I would think so.
Hey,
I would hope so.
There we go. That's exciting. We have a peace treaty.
the first peace treaty in America in 2026.
Yeah, well.
Anything you want to say before Line Blindside First Boot?
I mean, we had the 51 trailer at the end, but for some reason it's my fault, but we decided to break that down in the middle of the recap, so
That's
I don't really
okay.
have anything else to say about the 51 trailer.
We've only seen names and occupations, but it looks like it's going to be a fun cast.
I don't remember her name, but I've texted you and I've texted Kevin and I've texted Kyle. I already have dibs on someone in the draft.
Okay.
It's the one I sent you pictures of that kind of looks like Amanda, but she was funny in the trailer.
Lene.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I texted you and I don't remember what you said. Kevin said no, he's not respecting my dibs. And Kyle said watch her be first boot anyway. Or something like that. So I feel like that's him respecting my dibs. He didn't say no.
Yeah, I would think so.
Kevin said no to my dibs, so I'm a little worried if he gets a higher pick than me. But
I mean, we've still got a lot more to learn about these people before we're picking in the draft. So I haven't even thought who I'm going to pick.
Well, you can't pick her.
Fair.
I have dibs.
Fair.
Not actually. If you're ahead of me, you of course you can if you want to, but I have dibs.
Well, I have no idea. I want to sit down and watch all these interviews when they come out. And hopefully, like I said, we'll probably, if you're looking for the next fantasy draft, I go on a cruise on the 6th of September, so I assume we'll do it sometime between the 6th and the 13th.
Nice.
And because that way I don't have to be prepared for like watching any content in advance. I can just know what my draft order, get online with you guys from the middle of the ocean, have a Hennessy XO and draft, and we'll see how that goes.
Are you still going to be able to run the wheel?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay.
I can show screens on my phone.
I was going to say something and I forgot. Darn. Oh well.
Do you want to do an Line Blindside First Boot?
Sure.
Do you have players, or do you want me to go if I take a few seconds?
You go. Man, I had something I was going to say as part of that draft conversation and I forgot. Oh well.
All right, just give me a few seconds. I think I know, but I want to confirm. Yes.
When you do your draft prep, where do you listen to the interviews at? I'm curious, because Kevin listens to like the RHAP real quick pre-show interviews.
Yeah.
I read the like EW interview that everyone does.
I've done both.
Okay.
I've done the EW articles, and then I've listened to Mike Bloom and Schoenthal.
To me, the questions from EW and RH, they feel similar. I don't feel the need to do both. So I just do the one I can read and put in front of me while I'm drafting and making the board.
Makes sense.
It's just easier to have everyone in one place.
All right, so I have my Align Blindside First Boot. Aubrey won the game. Aubrey is now living in the state of New Hampshire, a kind of remote part of the country, near Canada, actually. Obviously, we know Massachusetts is the massive part of the U.S. when it comes to Survivor. It's the home of Boston Rob, of Jeremy Collins. I'm going to give you 3 Survivor women who are New Englanders, not from Massachusetts.
Okay.
So you opt from all the 3 of the smaller areas. So your option for a Line Blindside First Boot, representing the state of Rhode Island, Eva Erickson. Representing the state of Vermont, Julia Sokolowski. And representing the state of Maine, Julie Berry.
Michelle was hanging out with Julia yesterday. Like, not yesterday, like finale day, right? I saw them.
Yeah, Julia was Michelle's +1 for the finale.
I saw them hanging out together on Instagram story.
Yeah.
I'm going to align with Eva. I think we'd get along well. We'd play the game. We'd talk hockey the whole time.
Yep.
Even though I'm not a huge fan of her favorite team, they're a divisional rival of my favorite team.
Well, I mean, sometimes that can work out. Plenty of my good friends are Leaf fans.
But you know what? Like, the Wild might be like number 3, but they're on my list of like teams I kind of don't like. They are nowhere near close to 1 and 2. Like, I don't actually
I think I know who those two are.
Everyone who has talked hockey with me knows. Number 1, Chicago. Close second, Colorado. No one else is close.
Fair.
But like, the Wild are a divisional rival. I don't despise them, so we could talk Wild Blues and be fine. I'm
Yeah.
aligning with her, and it's been proven you can take her to the end and beat her.
Yep.
And it was Julia and who else?
Julie from Vanuatu. Someone we'll talk a bit about coming
She's
up.
someone I want to align with also. I wish me and both Eva and Julie could just be the final 3. But I will first boot Julia and blindside Julia, I guess. I don't really have great reasoning,
Nice.
just gut reaction. But in reality, me, Eva, and Julie is the final 3.
Nice. I'm going to go totally all over the board, different from what you did. I'm going to align with Julie here. I think she's probably the easiest of the 3 to beat. Just my reaction, I might be wrong, but I don't think that there would be a jury that would say be adamant of I need Julie to win Survivor unless they really wanted to get back at Jeff for something. I'm gonna blindside Julia. We saw her take the blindside really well in Korong. I think if Julia and I were to be on Survivor together and form an alliance, and she knows I'm a big Michelle fan, I think she would still give me the vote to win. And that leaves me to first boot Eva, who I think everyone would love to see win.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, what are yours?
I'm going with, because Aubrey won, she's our star of the week. People that have been aligned with / played on a season with Aubrey before.
Okay.
So from her most recent pre-30 season, pre-50 season, we have Lauren O'Connell, who they're super great. Maybe didn't play together a ton, if any, on the show, but they're super tight off the show.
Yeah.
Going back to Game Changers, I'm just going to go with castmates, because who, like, everyone was aligned with on Game Changers is not at the forefront of my mind right now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to cheat and go with someone that Aubrey played on 2 seasons with. From Game Changers, Ty is going to be my Game Changers representation.
Okay.
And going back to Korong, someone she was closely aligned with, I'm going to go with Neil here. I'm going to use Neil for a while.
Interesting. First and foremost, we've seen this happen. He tended to not be liked by the rest of the cast. I'm going to drag Ty to the end.
Okay. Yeah. But clear that he's not liked. He seems so nice.
Yeah, Ty seems so nice. I think it's just that he plays a very messy game. And I don't think Ty, despite being in multiple games, has not figured out how to fix that yet.
Yeah.
I think if he was to come out again, he'd still play a messy game, go deep, and get himself voted out. Because the problem for Ty is he wants to play an aggressive game, but his morals tell him not to do so, and he's stuck.
Give me Ty for Survivor 60.
You never know.
Although I did read that Probst said we'd see returners sooner than later.
Yeah. I would think maybe something like 53 or 54 is some sort of returning season.
Give me Ty for fans versus favorites 3 at 53.
I could see that. So that leaves me with Lauren O'Connell and with Neil. I mean, I think that's a pretty easy one. If there's anybody who's probably going to be Good on the jury if you blindsided her, it's Lauren O'Connell. And if there's anyone who's going to be bitter on the jury, it's Neil. So he's got to go first.
Shocker. As soon
Yeah.
as I said Neil's name, I knew you'd first boot him. Yeah. Actually, before I said it, as soon as I thought of him, I'm like, oh, that's who he's going to first boot.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I want to align with Lauren so badly, but I think she beats me, and I think Ty doesn't. So, I'm going to align with him. I'm going to blindside her. And I don't think me and Neil would vibe well personality-wise. So I'm going to first boot him for that reason.
Interesting.
Shout out to Neil. You gave us some good content these past couple minutes.
Yep. Anything else you want to say before we go to a line blind, or before we wrap up?
Nope, just another congratulations to Aubrey.
I thought you were about to say congratulations to the champion.
Well, congratulations to you too, but I had you up early.
I literally didn't even think of Aubrey when you started the word.
Literally the star of the week, but okay.
Yeah. But no, such a fun season. We're gonna be back next week for one more episode on 50. It's our rites to passage episode. Kevin's gonna be here. And then also look out then for the week after that. We'll do the premiere of Vanuatu, and we'll also be, if for those of you, I know Bruce hates when I say this, for those of you who are fans of the beautiful game, we are going to be doing World Cup chat 2 weeks from now as well.
I don't hate it. It just sounds pretentious is all.
I know, and it's amazing.
I don't hate it at all. It actually makes me smile. It's just objectively
I
pretentious.
thought you hated it.
No. I just laugh at it.
Fair enough. Anyway, grab your torches and head back to camp. That's a wrap on the 50th season and on the 6th season of Tribal Council Chat Live.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.